What is good, YouTube family? Welcome back to Creativity with Purpose, where we create with purpose on purpose. My name is Bilani Mdaga, and I'm so glad to have you here. As you can already tell by the title of this video today, I have basically a part two to my latest sit down video where I was speaking about wellness and giving you guys a few tips about what has worked for me. And according to my other social media platforms, it showed that you guys are actually interested in it. And so I realized that my last video was not in detail. And today I thought, let me give you guys a more detailed video about the things that have worked for me, and just talking a bit more about wellness, because I didn't know that you guys were going to receive it so well. But yeah, I will put the results somewhere here on the screen, like around here, so you can see my credentials. Okay. You probably would have seen my credentials somewhere here on the screen. And when I say credentials, I say basically what gives me the right to be able to speak about such matters. Like I said, the disclaimer in my previous video that I had mentioned still stands. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse, I'm not a nutritionist, a dietitian of any sort. However, I'm here to share with you guys my journey and what has worked for me. So everything that I say, please do take it with a pinch of salt, and maybe even take it back to your doctor if you're a person who is very serious about this, and you want, maybe not that you're not serious if you don't take it to the doctor, but I mean to say that if you want more professional advice, if this would work for you, if this is something that you would try out. It's quite basic, to be honest. It's nothing hectic. So without any further ado, let's get straight into the video. As I mentioned in my previous video, I've been on a fitness journey for the longest time. I won't call it fitness, let me call it a wellness journey, because I think fitness is more of like including things like your workout plan and such, from my understanding. But this is more of a holistic wellness plan and what has worked for me. It's not really a plan, it's more of like mindful eating, mindful lifestyle, and so yeah, I hope you guys will enjoy that. And that being said, the first point that I would like to mention is that if you're a person who struggles with your relationship with food, if you're a person who struggles with eating, overeating, undereating, all of those things, binge eating, such, please, there's a trigger warning. I will be speaking about calories and stuff like that. And I also will be speaking about weight and those things of that kind, of that nature. So if you are triggered by such things, please do take this moment to click out of this video. Okay, now that the people who are, who want to continue with this video are still here, let's get into it, as I said. So the first thing that I think I noticed made the big change for me was when I actually started just being more mindful about the things that I eat. Not strict, but mindful. I did try being strict in the beginning. However, that did not work, and it's not sustainable. It's not healthy. And when I mean strict, I mean restricting yourself too much in the beginning. Of course, you need to decrease the amount of food that you're eating if you are wanting to lose weight. You don't want to decrease your calories to the point where you are doing it at the detriment or to the detriment of your well-being, because you will need energy. Even if you're trying to lose weight, you still need energy. And so basically, I will put the definition of calories somewhere here on the screen so that you guys can know the correct and accurate definition. But basically, when I speak about calories, for those who may not be sure about what I'm talking about, calories is basically the amount of food that you are putting inside your body, the number of food that you're putting inside your body. I don't know if that makes sense, but like I said, I'll put the definition here for you guys to read. But if you see food packets, if you read at the back there, it says energy, and some of it will be written in kilojoules, some of it will be written in kilocalories or calories, and that will basically tell you, maybe if it says 529, it tells you kilojoules, it tells you it's basically telling you that that amount of serving has that amount of energy in it. And so, for example, if you're a person who wants to lose weight, you will need to be in a calorie deficit. And a calorie deficit is basically where you decrease the amount of food or energy that you're putting into your body by a certain amount. So, for example, if you're a person who maintains your body weight at 2,000 maybe calories a day, then you would need to, if you want to lose weight, and all this goes according to your height, and it also goes according to your what is it? Your height and your weight. And so different people need different calories. So what works for person A may not work for you. And maybe what person A needs to decrease their calories by, you may need to decrease your calories by less or decrease it by more, depending, as I said, on your height and that calculation. There are apps that help you calculate that. Yeah, and not even apps, actually. I think you can even calculate it on your Google or your Safari, whatever it is that you use to search the web. You can actually put in your weight, you put in your height, and it calculates for you, I guess, your BMI or whatever it is, and it tells you how much weight, I mean, how many calories you need to take in a daily in order to lose weight, or in order to gain weight, or in order to maintain your weight, depending on what your goals are like. So like I said, you see in the back of the packet, if it says 529 kilojoules, that means that that particular serving has 529 kilojoules. And then that is how you will then decipher whether this is something that you should be eating, or if it is going to if it's going to set you back. You know what I'm saying? I say that to say there are a lot of foods that are filled with saturated fats, filled with oils, and all of these things that we don't really need. So reading your labels is very, very important. You don't need all those added sugars. You don't need all those unnecessary fats and oils and all of these things. So reading your labels will help you. Don't become obsessed with it. And if you sense that you're becoming obsessed with it, take a step back. And I think that's where my second point comes in, which is mindful eating. I think it was the first point, but I think let me make the first point calories, and then the second point, because we've covered calories, and then the second point is the mindful eating. I am a person who can get very obsessive over facts and all of these things. Once I start getting into all of that, there was a point in time where I used to count my calories, and I became very obsessed with that. I've become like, it would ruin my whole day if I'm not taking enough calories, or I've taken too many calories. And that's an unhealthy way to be, because you're also supposed to enjoy the process as you go along. It's supposed to be something that's sustainable, and that is not sustainable. So that's where I started, seeing more mindful people. I mean, people who eat mindfully on their, social media platforms, and who share that with us here on YouTube, on TikTok, all of these other things, all of these other platforms. And they help you have a better relationship with food. So basically what mindful eating is you're basically you're not restricting yourself with the foods that you eat, but you're basically being mindful of the things that you put inside your body. So when you eat, you have to ask yourself, like, what is this doing for my body? How am I going to feel after eating this and this and this and this, But balance is also key. That's my next point, number 3, balance. So second point is mindful eating, but balance as well. Because even with mindful eating, you can also get obsessed over it, obsessed over asking yourself, why am I eating this and this and this? It's supposed to be a thing that just becomes a habit, not an obsession. Okay, so with mindful eating, with restricting yourself, the difference would be, say you have a plate of food in front of you, restricting yourself and being obsessed about it in a negative way. Is there a positive way to be obsessed? I don't know, but being obsessed about it would be a thing of, you have the plates in front of you, and you choose that you're going to go hungry because you don't see how this food is going to help you to lose weight. Whilst mindful eating is saying, this is the food that I have in front of me, so I'm going to maybe eat a lesser portion, and maybe I don't have to finish the whole plate, or maybe I'm going to basically you get the gist of it. So it's more of like, you are not starving yourself. This video is particular for people who want to lose weight. Let me also make that disclaimer. You're not starving yourself. Mindful eating says, I'm able to have maybe a cheat meal once a week. Maybe I have a burger once a week if I feel like a burger. If I want chips, crisps, whatever it is, I can have them, but in the correct portions. I'm not going to go overboard, because when you also restrict yourself too much, the minute that you get that sugar in your hands or that junk in your hands, you're going to go crazy. That's the type of stuff that leads to binge eating and other eating disorders that we want to avoid. So yeah, practice mindful eating. And then the next point is just, and also mindful eating means eating foods that are healthier for you, choosing the healthier options, so instead of frying your chicken, you grill your chicken. Instead of frying your veggies, you steam them. Those are other examples of mindful eating. Mindful eating also allows you to savor and appreciate your food more, because you're thinking about it in a way of, this that I'm feeding or this that I'm consuming and putting into my body is good for me. It's beneficial for me. And so it's a way of taking care of your body as well. And it's also like a mind, stomach, a body connection, which is what we really need if we want to sustain this for the long run. Because you don't want to do something that you're not enjoying, or it feels dreadful to think about it. No, you need to be excited about what you're going to eat, but don't let food become your life. Don't idolize food. Don't always be thinking about, what am I going to eat next? What am I going to eat next? It's good to prepare, but once you have thought about what you're going to eat, leave it at that. Stop obsessing over it, because that's another thing that will ruin this journey for you. So my next point, which would be what has helped me a lot, is portion control. Portion control, portion control, portion control, okay? And what that basically is you are controlling the portions that you are consuming. So where you used to eat, sometimes it's not even what you eat, but it's how much you eat. So where you used to eat maybe a whole plate of food, why don't you with a whole plate of food, and like your rice is like a mountain, why don't you halve that portion of rice? Why don't you start by decreasing the portions that you eat? Because as I've said, sometimes there's nothing wrong with the food that you're eating. It's just that you are eating the wrong portions. Because to be quite honest with you, believe it or not, there are people who can eat unhealthy, yet because of the kind of portions that they eat, they don't gain as much weight, or sometimes they're even able to lose weight. But that's not what we're promoting here, because we are promoting healthy eating, okay? Please, my darling, stop eating a mountain of pap every day. Please stop eating a mountain of rice every day. Half your portions, okay? Increase your fiber, which leads me to my next point. Increase your fiber, increase your protein. I know you always hear people speaking about increase your protein, and it's like, yes, that's important, but increase your fiber as well. Your protein can be found in your meat, your protein can be found in your eggs, your protein can be found in your legumes like your lentils, your beans, whatever. Your protein can be found in chickpeas. If you're a person who does not eat meat, there are also plant-based sources of protein. You just need to do your research. So increase your protein. Definitely your protein is important, but fiber is just as important, if not as important, because fiber helps you also in that other room, to go to the toilet, be regular, stuff like that. So increase your fiber, take enough fiber. Because what happens is a lot of people neglect their fiber and they focus and obsess over the amount of protein that they're taking in. And it's like, in as much as you need protein on your plate, you need fiber on your plate. There are so many different sources of fiber. Your fruits can be sources of fiber. Your spinach, your dark leafy greens, can be your sources of fiber. Your oats, your brown rice, these things are also just as necessary, and yeah, please do your research on what sources of fiber that you can find, because they're not all going to come to me here, but there's so many sources of fiber, so many sources of protein, and you find what works for you, find what you enjoy. And that leads me to my other point, which is also focus on your gut health. In as much as you're wanting to lose weight, ask yourself what the state of your gut is, because that will also have an impact on how you are looking, okay? And I don't mean that in any kind of vain way. I mean, basically, sometimes you feel and look bloated because your gut health is in shambles, okay? And there are also many things that you can do in order to take care of your gut health, which again, I will say to that, please do your research. It only takes one sentence, you typing one sentence on your whatever you search on the web with, and ta-da, you have so many sources where you can find the so many places where you can find what sources of foods can help you with your gut health. So for me, for example, I eat a lot of plain yogurts, I eat a lot of fruit, not too much, but like just enough fruit. Your oats again, your chia seeds, your like I said, everything's not going to come to me right now, but those things that help with gut health. Your gut health will also show in your skin. If you're having unnecessary breakouts, obviously as women we go through seasons and our hormones and all of these things come into factor, but sometimes your skin is also in shambles, not because it just is in shambles or because of hormones, but because the fact that your gut is screaming for your help. So if you're a person who eats a lot of processed sugars, processed fats, food that doesn't have dense nutrients, and food that's just empty, empty calories, because they also sell things in the shops that will tell you low calorie this, low calorie that, but it's not giving you the nutrients you need, and you're just bloated now. And gut health affects your mood, it affects your skin, it affects your gut, of course, it affects so many things, how you're feeling tired for no reason. Check your gut health, okay? And when I say check your gut health, I mean take a break from those things that you've been eating, all those processed food and junk that you've been consuming. And like I said, after you've done your research, see the things that work for you. Maybe for a whole month, give yourself a month. Eat those foods that are good for your gut health. Eat those foods that are good for your hormones. Eat those foods that are good for you as a woman, as a man, whatever it is, whoever's watching this video. And you will see, tell me if you do not see the difference, not only in your skin. If the video that I put here, you guys will see that I was having a bit of like skin issues in the before. My face was bloated, my skin was breaking out. I do still have a few breakouts here and there because, like I said, I'm a woman, I go through seasons of such things. It's a normal aspect of life and it's what makes us beautiful. But what I'm saying is that sometimes it's not because of the fact that you're just breaking out, but it's because of the diet that you are consuming. Yeah, guys, I think that's all I have to share with you guys today. If there's anything that I missed, maybe I'll make another part. I hope this was helpful for you in some kind of way. And yeah, if you feel like you're a person who doesn't have community, is willing to do this with you, I am here. You can definitely reach out to me on my platforms and we can do this together. Healthy eating, healthy living, okay? But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you happen to enjoy, please don't forget to like, comment, share, as well as subscribe, and turn on those notification bells so you're notified every single time that I upload a new video. And until next time, God willingly, it is a goodbye from me.